Two of Trump's top officials just walked into a legal trap they didn't see coming. The International Criminal Court, the same body Trump spent years attacking, may now be preparing arrest warrants, not just for allies overseas, but for Americans sitting in the White House right now. Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth could be next on the list, and the reason why connects directly to military strikes happening right now in the Caribbean. This isn't speculation. Legal experts are sounding alarms, and the ICC has done this before to powerful leaders who thought they were untouchable. Stay with me, because what happens next could reshape how American power operates on the world stage. Let's start with what just happened. The Trump administration has been bombing boats near Venezuelan waters over the past month. The official story is simple. These vessels carried drugs heading to America, so they took them out. Clean strike, problem solved. But here's the issue. No evidence has been released. No proof these boats actually carried narcotics. And in the most recent Trump military strike, everyone on board was killed. No arrests, no trials, just elimination. Now, a conservative legal scholar just published something alarming in the Wall Street Journal. He pointed out that Trump's boat bombings look disturbingly similar to the extrajudicial killings that got Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte indicted by the ICC earlier this year. The International Criminal Court called those killings crimes against humanity. And if Trump's actions follow the same pattern, then the officials who ordered or defended those strikes, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, could face ICC prosecution. The International Criminal Court was created in 2002 to prosecute war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. Over 120 countries joined, but the United States refused from the start. American leaders feared that U.S. soldiers and officials might one day face prosecution for military decisions made abroad. That fear became reality when the ICC began investigating alleged U.S. military abuses in Afghanistan and later condemned Israel for war crimes in Gaza. Trump saw the ICC as a threat to American sovereignty. Earlier this year, when the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister for alleged crimes in Gaza, Trump responded with fury. He called the court illegitimate and baseless. Then he did something no previous president had attempted. He issued an executive order sanctioning ICC officials directly. Marco Rubio backed Trump's ICC sanctions immediately. He labeled the International Criminal Court a national security threat and accused it of weaponizing lawfare against the United States and American allies. Pete Hegseth echoed that position, vowing the U.S. would never recognize ICC jurisdiction. The Trump administration wasn't just defying international law. They were daring the court to respond. And now, that response may be coming. The ICC operates through its member states, meaning if Marco Rubio or Pete Hegseth traveled to almost any European, African, or Latin American country, they could be detained under an ICC warrant. Unlike former presidents, cabinet officials don't have lifetime Secret Service protection or the diplomatic immunity of a head of state. That makes them vulnerable. Here's where the Venezuela strikes become critical. The Trump administration authorized multiple airstrikes on boats in international waters near Venezuela. Officials claimed these Trump military strikes targeted drug traffickers, but critics call them something else: unprovoked acts of aggression, possibly even murder. The administration never provided evidence that these vessels carried drugs. They simply eliminated targets and moved on. Legal experts now warn that Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth may have inadvertently tied themselves to these operations by publicly defending them. Under international law, that combination of participation, justification, and obstruction falls under command responsibility, exactly the kind of pattern the ICC prosecutes. If the strikes were conducted without evidence or proper oversight, the officials involved could face individual criminal liability under international law. The ICC rarely announces investigations publicly. It often issues sealed indictments, hidden arrest warrants that only become public when a suspect is detained abroad. Legal analysts believe sealed proceedings against Trump administration officials could already be underway. If true, Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth might not know they're wanted until they land in the wrong country. This has happened before. The International Criminal Court issued surprise warrants for sitting heads of state, including Sudan's Omar al-Bashir and Russia's Vladimir Putin. Both initially dismissed the threats. Both later found their international movements severely restricted. The same pattern could apply to Trump's top officials. Think about what this means. Trump spent years branding the ICC as an enemy of American sovereignty. He imposed Trump ICC sanctions to punish the court for investigating U.S. allies. But the more aggressively the Trump administration attacks the International Criminal Court, the more they seem to validate its purpose, holding powerful leaders accountable when they believe they're above the law. The irony is striking. American officials tried to intimidate the court, and now that same court may be preparing to do exactly what it was designed to do. For years, U.S. leaders criticized the ICC as overreaching. Now, the court might prove it can reach even American cabinet members. If the ICC truly decides to act, the consequences extend beyond Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth personally. It would signal that American power no longer automatically shields its leaders from international accountability. Allies and adversaries worldwide are watching. They see a government that punishes a court for investigating war crimes, only to potentially commit similar actions through Trump military strikes in Venezuela. The next few months will be crucial. Watch for how the International Criminal Court responds to Trump's Venezuela campaign. Watch for whether Marco Rubio or Pete Hegseth suddenly change their travel plans. And watch for any sudden diplomatic moves that might signal sealed indictments becoming active. This moment captures something larger. It's a test of whether global institutions still matter when they challenge American power. If the ICC moves forward, the headlines won't come from Washington. They'll come from The Hague, where international justice operates beyond any single country's control. The Trump administration wanted to prove the ICC was toothless. They may be about to discover otherwise. Even America's most powerful officials might not stay untouchable for long. What do you think? Could American officials actually face arrest abroad? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of this developing story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This situation is moving fast, and you won't want to miss what happens next.